Hey, welcome to the moment. I am live right now. My name is Michael Zinn, and it is the moment. The moment is now, and that is what this show is all about. It just came to me as like an intention to create a moment that I would broadcast live, and talk to some amazing people and have some amazing conversations. And I haven't done it in a while, and a good friend of mine came around and said, "I want to do a broadcast with you," and he has an amazing story. And we visited it with him last time I was live, and I'm going to welcome him to the moment. He's my co-host. He's William Conway. What's up, Willie?
Hey, what's up, Michael? Good to
How,
see you, man.
how you doing? I never called you that before. Is Willie cool? You like Willie or no? William.
Willie's all right. I don't
Willie's
mind
all right.
Willie.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. So welcome,
I mean,
Willie.
honestly, I don't get too pretentious about what people call me. I ain't answered about anything, really.
Cool. No, you know what? I like William. I like the formal. I like Michael. I like when people call me Michael. So
Yeah.
I like William too. But anyway, so how are things going with you, man? We had a good story about where you were at the last moment, but where are you at this moment?
I mean, so it didn't work out as I would have liked. Last comic standing, I did not win. Nathan Holtz won, and he is an amazing comic. I'm super glad for him. He definitely has earned it. He's been a staple in Sioux Falls comedy for a long time, so I'm super proud of him. Anyway,
Cool.
but what I did do, I didn't lose out completely in the month of April. I did become the comic of the month at Boston Comedy Club, and I won the
Awesome.
Larry Brinkman Award for the month of April. So I
Awesome.
didn't leave. I didn't leave April a complete loser. So that felt good. That was nice
That's
to go home
awesome.
with the trophy.
That's
Um,
awesome.
and I got some shows coming up too. I did some shows in Sioux City also, and then this coming up on the 25th, I'm going to be in um, gosh, it's Ralston, Nebraska. It's a suburb of Omaha. It's right outside Omaha.
Nebraska. Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to be in Nebraska, and then I'm going to be doing Watertown, South Dakota on the 27th, and
Awesome.
then I'll be doing a feature set at the next Boss's open mic competition for winning last month's competition. I get to do a feature set like
That's
15, 20
awesome.
minutes. So that'll be fun. That's on the 31st.
So
So I
good
mean,
to
there's
see,
good
man.
things happening for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I get you when you say it didn't work out the way you would have wanted to win, but still, you had that moment. You had that moment,
Yeah.
and it just led
Well,
to
I
the
don't
next
know.
one.
Do you? I mean, do you? I fell before I even told the joke. Do you know that?
No,
Do
no,
you-
tell me that.
yeah. Okay. So I go out there and I kind of like I was excited to just be there. And so to be honest, I didn't even go out with jokes right away. I had something to say, like because I made a little statement about how like me being on this stage was just a big deal because they told me prison was the only thing possible for me. So just me being there was a win for me.
Exactly.
Matter of fact, I even popped a confetti popper on on my way to the stage. As I took the stage, I
That's
popped
awesome.
a confetti popper just for fucking showing up.
I love it.
Okay?
I love it.
Because that's how I feel about life. Listen,
Yeah,
I'll
man. Yeah.
celebrate just that I fucking showed up. I don't give a shit about the fucking outcome. And I'll tell you what, I had a second popper ready. You want to know where that popper went? Directly over Nathan Holtz. Because I know how to celebrate somebody else too, because that's a vital part of life. You can,
Nice.
you can be about trying to get the victories all you want, but if you can't clap for somebody else, you're you're missing something, pal. You're really missing something.
I
So I
love it.
mean that I was super happy that that second popper went over Nathan because he's a solid dude. That dude's literally saved my life. He put out a wellness call on me when I was in a bad way, and I got the help I needed at that time
That's
because
awesome.
that man like stepped up and like made some calls when I started doing stuff that was concerning. You know what I mean? So
Right.
like I'll sing the praises of Nathan Holtz to my dying day, bro.
I
You know
love
what I
it,
mean?
man.
Like that dude's rock solid to me.
I love your enthusiasm and for for your philosophies. You know what I mean? The way that you're just so
Right.
excited about what you feel and why, and that those feelings are so positive, and the things you say, you know, like it's like you're just like this philosopher, this wise philosopher. You always say things. So what you were saying was, you know, if you can't clap for someone else, you're missing something. And it's just so true. You know, it's we are here to support each other and raise each other up. I mean, if you know, we're not here to put each other down and to take advantage of each other and a lot of the things that go on in this world. And I think, you know, that's what's so cool, and what I love about you so much is, like, you know, you've seen that side of life, and
Yeah.
you've like decided, like, no, that's not right. It doesn't feel right. It just
Right.
right, you know, and that's put you where you are. So I'm glad to hear all of that stuff, man. Very, very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool.
Yeah, because I wasn't always like this. Was
Yeah,
not always like this
it's great. It's
at
great. It
all.
feels good. I love even being in this moment with you here, because I could feel it through the
Yeah,
screen. I could
it
feel
feels
it.
real good.
I love it. So, you again, you kind of inspired this broadcast, the moment to live again. It was a
Yeah.
concept that I had come up with that just celebrated the moment, celebrated intention. And if you're here live, say hello, and subscribe to the YouTube channel and all those things you're supposed
Yeah,
to
please
say.
do, please do.
We would love it. But and if you're watching the replay, maybe you're not here in this moment with us, but you're in your own moment
Yeah.
experiencing us, and we totally appreciate it. So,
And if you
but
like the moment, please don't forget to share.
don't forget to share, be in the moment and share the moment,
Yeah.
and be the moment, man. It's just like, it's
Yeah.
what it's all about. So so here we are, and I said I would bring the show back if you did a little of the legwork, and you did. You have a lot of people supporting you, which I love. And I
Hmm.
love the fact that you're in the comedy world, because I'm sure we're going to get some cool comedy guests. I have some cool comedy guests. We'll get Jackie the Joke Man on the show and
Oh,
stuff
that'd be
like
great.
that. But you were super excited about tonight's guest, so
I am.
let's bring her on. I was actually trying to come up with an introduction, and I think she came up with an introduction herself. I looked at her LinkedIn page, and she is creative, tenacious, self-motivating, hardworking, intensely curious, always researching for both mysteries and history, always seeking, writing, teaching, and learning opportunities. Welcome to the moment, Eve Fisher. What's happening?
Hey,
Yay!
glad to be here.
Yo.
Glad to be here. I
Well,
can't
glad
tell
you're
you,
here.
I'm so happy to hang out with Bill and with you. I've known Bill for, when did I meet you?
Oh gosh. I mean, I think I was already doing AVPs when you came in.
Yeah,
So
so,
it's whenever you started doing
okay,
AVPs.
so it's since like 2010.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's a long
Just
time
like,
ago. We
yeah.
have Lori May out there. Hello, Lori. Thank you for joining us in the moment. She's here to see you, Eve. So thank you for bringing your friends to the moment. I love that.
Yeah.
I had no idea what you were talking about, Will, when you started talking about AVP even. So I feel like it's great. It's a great opportunity to even bring that to light, you know, so
Hmm.
whoever doesn't even know what we're talking about, tell us what it is. Or maybe do you want to turn it over to Eve, or do you want to tell us what it is?
Yeah, no, I think Eve is certainly more qualified. She's probably done this spiel a number of times.
Oh, yeah.
I do want to say that Eve was like one of the instrumental people in helping to change my core beliefs and my core thinking.
Mhm.
AVP is, in the simple terms, a conflict resolution course seminar, but it's a lot more than that. And Eve is the South Dakota Director of AVP for the institutions there. So, yeah, if
Awesome.
you want to give us more of a synopsis of what AVP is about, I'd love that.
Okay, well, AVP is the Alternatives to Violence Project, and it's an international organization. We got some people that I know that did a workshop over in Kenya. They're all around the world. Sadly, not in every state in this country, but we're working on it.
Mhm.
Um, and it was founded by between New York inmates and Quakers, because the Quakers were visiting the inmates, and the inmates says, "Well, you know, you come out here and you talk a nice spiel about peace and love and justice, but you don't live in this environment. How about you help us figure out a way to live non-violently in a very violent prison?
Mm-hmm.
And they did. And they
Wow.
came up with this way of doing it. And it is no lectures. We don't ever stand up there and lecture. Instead, it's all what the formal term is experiential, which means everybody does it themselves.
Okay.
You do role plays. You do brainstorming.
It's more of like an activity. It's
it's constant activities.
Yeah.
Constant activities, and they change up. In the course of a weekend.
Exercises, those are really fun.
Right. In the course of a weekend, you're going to do 20, 24 different exercises, bam, 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 in between light and livelies where we all just act really stupid and goofy. And
really goofy.
The guards are standing out there going, what the hell are they doing?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Are they allowed to do that?
After more than one weekend.
This is amazing. And I have a friend watching Carrie Ann who's saying, oh my God, I've never heard of this. And she's very much into mental health and wellness. And it sounds directly involved. And actually what I'm getting just from the brief description that you just gave me, which is awesome, because again, that really, really brings light to what we're going to talk about tonight, which I'm really excited about, is connection with other people. Is sharing that experience, whatever these different experiences are, sharing them and connecting with other people. So watching somebody else have that same experience and how they're reacting to it, it sounds like that's just the whole, that enhances the whole thing. So go ahead.
It becomes a family. It becomes a family. I mean, it's a community. Really once you're in, now granted, we've had people that came to workshops and they walked out at noon going, I ain't doing this the first day. And it's like, okay, see you later. You'll come back.
Right.
But, the people that do a whole workshop, I run into them, I run into them down here at the downtown library in Sioux Falls, which is where the elite meet, because that's where we all go. And, it's like, Eve, I'm still out. I'm going, yes, or things like that. There have been formal studies, and the studies have proved that if somebody really does do multiple workshops and works the program, they have a tremendously low recidivism rate.
Wow.
They're going to stay out.
And this is exactly in line with you and your story, with what.
Well, I mean, that's because I did like 25 AVP weekends, bro. Like I was an AVP champ. Like
that's awesome. No, but I mean, your story of being told, oh, you're going to be thrown back in the system, and that's all you've got to look forward to, and you making a decision. No, that's not what I want, and
so I mean, like so something like this was instrumental in remapping what was wrong. You know what I mean? Because because I grew up in such a toxic environment, like there were so many things wrong with my patterns of thinking and my core beliefs that like I really needed something to just kind of show me the way, really, even because like I didn't even know, and the exercises really and especially like when you get into like the mandala exercises and stuff like that, which is like talks about caring for others and
respect yourself.
What was that called? Mandala, like MANDALA? No.
Mandala.
Oh, mandala. Wow.
Yeah, there's core sayings that we have a mandala, and we put them out, and everybody looks at them and picks the one that they need to work on the most, and it's like respect yourself, always seek a nonviolent solution, respect others, caring for others, and that kind of thing, and it's and then there's ones, some of them are meant to kind of get to the heart of the problem. Like there's one about injunctions from childhood, where people sit in a circle, and it's the one time where we sit not looking at each other.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody in the course of the thing, it's to call out the things, negative things that were said to us when we were a child,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, or wherever it happened, you know, whatever it was, the things we were told. Well, you're stupid, you're lazy, you're no good, you're never going to amount to anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really, actually, it's kind of a brutal exercise.
Yeah.
But then after that, we started following it up, and this actually happened after you left. I said after that, we need a really healing exercise after that, and we do a thing called magic carpet, where everyone writes the 3 things that they want most to hear from someone in their lives. And then we have this fake magic carpet because they don't let us bring anything in. You know, we fake one. You know, pretend there's a carpet. Here's a chair. Sit in the chair. You know, and then somebody does a riff on the, you know, we sit there. And then what happens is as they sit in the chair, it's usually me or Mary or a couple of other, you know, and we whisper to them the things that they want to hear.
Wow.
You know,
that's really deep. Yeah. Wow. So you know what? I have a question actually for you, William. And I'm kind of really excited about this whole conversation because it's got me thinking about so many things. What I feel like I'm feeling your passion for all of this too, and how much this meant to you. So I'm curious about what exercises specifically stood out to you that you remembered as like really significant to you, like blew your mind that, you know, you were just like, it sounds like you have a couple that were specific.
Well, so one of them is like one of the very first exercises, the iceberg exercise, which is the what is violence exercise, where we talk about the behaviors, and then we talk about like the thoughts or feelings that go with those behaviors, and then we talk about the core beliefs that lead to those things and stuff. But like that was one of my favorite exercises to lead, because that's actually how I identified like a lot of, because there were things that happened in my life and stuff that I didn't understand the violence that they were sometimes. And one of the things that I really like pointing out to people is that silence can be a violent act. And like people think that that's kind of a crazy thing to say sometimes, but when you understand that violence is something that you do with the intent on hurting someone else. So if me and my partner are arguing and I know that if I give her the cold shoulder or the silent treatment, and if I know that that hurts her and will make her kind of bow to whatever I'm trying to make her do, then I'm manipulating her and hurting her with my silence, and it's very much a violent act that I'm portraying against her, you know. And so it's like it really started holding me accountable to all sorts of different behaviors, because it went that deep. It went as far as telling us how silence can even be violent, and like you're like, what, you know. But there's a lot of things that you can do that, like it's about the intent. It's what is your intent in doing this?
Yeah, absolutely. It's awesome. I love this. This is so awesome. Very, very cool. So
and I think the other one, if I can mention one more,
absolutely. Let's keep this is
the broken heart exercise. Is probably one of my favorites.
What is that?
Because what we do for the broken heart exercise is somebody has like this very nicely put together heart that's got like velcroed pieces on, but it's been very nicely pieced together. Okay. And one by one, people from the group will come up and say something bad about you and rip a piece of the heart away. And then when that's done, when all the pieces are gone, one by one, everyone has to put a piece back. And even though like there's like little shapes and stuff that kind of tell you like a jigsaw puzzle where the
Right.
pieces go and stuff, even though that's there, whenever you put it back together, it
Doesn't look the
never
same.
looks the same
Right.
as when you
Mhm.
started.
What
You
an
know,
awesome exercise, man. Holy
yeah,
moly.
it's such a good exercise because it
It's
shows you that you can say bad things and then you can go back and you can say good things, but it doesn't, it's not going to be the same anymore. There's now been a wound that has been covered
yeah,
and there's scar tissue
yeah,
because of that wound,
yeah, yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So great. It's I love the metaphors. Carrie Ann is saying, yes, the silent treatment is abuse. It took me a lifetime to understand that. Yeah. I love the brilliance of these exercises. Now, I got a question for you, Eve. Um, is this stuff, I mean, it seems like it appeals to such the basic our basic nature, right? So is this stuff,
Mhm.
do they teach this stuff to kids? I mean, it seems like if you've experienced this as a kid, it would really have an effect on you, like, or is it
Well,
too beyond conceptually?
no, it does. There are some places that have community, but they're outreach where they teach to kids. It would be nice if it started very, very, very young, but
Right.
usually it's like in some places, like in New York City and LA, where they have it for like junior high, high school. I've done a couple of mini workshops at the college level.
Right.
Um, and um, but it part of the and it would be wonderful. It would be wonderful if we could do it. What we've been trying to do for years is to get the guards at the prison to actually do them, but that's not going to happen. That's just like,
Man, that would be so good though.
oh, it
Wow.
would. It'd be incredible because
Yeah.
there's all kinds of things.
Oh, we lost her.
Oh, we lost.
She popped out for a second. I don't know what happened there.
I think she accidentally hit something because her hand moved right when that
Oh,
happened.
well, I'm sure she'll be back.
I'm sure she will be.
I had an amazing guest, and I'm imagining he's not very typical of a CO. Uh, but I had a guy, Dr. Michael Wellhouse, on my show, who is also a theologist. So he's very much into his relationship with Jesus Christ and his religion, and he reads the Bible. He can quote you any page of the Bible, you know what I mean? But he is the most freaking loving person that I've met. And when we met, we hit it off just on that concept. Like, he knew I was loving, I knew he was loving, and it was like, holy shit, you're an amazing person. And man, if all this, I mean, I have no idea what COs are like. So Eve was talking about how that would never happen. Tell me why she said that.
Well, I don't think it would happen because of the administration, not because the COs are necessarily unwilling.
Gotcha.
Although I think you'd be hard pressed to find a good number of them that wanted to. But
What happened? Your sound went off. Is my computer going crazy or something? I don't hear. I hear you a little bit. I do hear you a little bit. Can you hear me? We're in the moment, folks. And now Will is gone. It's just me. But this is awesome. I'm loving this conversation. I don't know who else is out there. Lori May is out there saying no. I'm not sure what you're saying no to, but this is awesome. And it just sounds, like I said, like, if kids could see these kinds of things. I love that exercise with the heart. I mean, I know I've seen some teachers talk about exercises where they have a piece of paper, and they have the kids say something to it, and they crumble it a little bit, and they keep crumbling it and crumbling it and crumbling it, and then eventually they unfold it, and it's not the same piece of paper. What's up, Will? And it's kind of the same thing. So I have seen that concept shown to young kids. I'm talking about a lesson where a teacher has a piece of paper, and they have the child say something bad to it, and they crumple it a little bit, and then another person says something bad, and they crumple it, and they end up crumpling this paper, and then they're like, oh, okay, and they end up pulling it apart and opening it when they apologize to it, but it doesn't look the same. It's been crumpled. So it's
right.
a very similar concept to that exercise with the heart. But man, I was just talking about how much I'm loving this. This is it sounds like such a great thing. I love how much it's affected you. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah,
such simple things, and really what it's inspiring me to think about is what can I do to show other people these kinds of exercises, you know what I mean? Like people
right,
who would receive it and really, you know, I mean, like again, the whole idea of being accountable. I was actually wondering maybe you need to go to like junior high and high school kids because they've already done things that they can think, ooh, I did some things
right,
that I didn't realize would hurt somebody.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I think definitely adolescents could definitely use it. I mean, if we could get the one thing about ABP that I definitely think is important to mention is it's a volunteer based program. One of the things about the program is that they feel that if you're made to go, it's not going to be something that's
it's not going to
like
be effective.
right, yeah. You're not gonna get the
Yeah,
same thing out of it if you have to be there.
right,
So like
right.
it's very much volunteer based. So
It's
that's
certainly,
kind
yeah,
of
it's
one of the things
important.
that affects it
It's
is we
important.
don't want hey, what's up, Dakota? How you doing? That's my dude from New Mexico.
Sweet. What's up, Dakota? Welcome.
Yeah.
Dakota, if you're here and if you subscribe, I will ring a bell. I have a bell over here somewhere. I'm going to ring it every time someone subscribes,
Oh, that'd be great.
just to
Yeah,
have a gimmick,
hit
just to
that
have,
subscribe
yeah,
button, Dakota.
yeah.
He totally will. He's my
Now
dude.
I
He
got to
loves
make
me.
sure I have my bell over here because I got.
Yeah,
Oh, there it
ring
is. I
my
see. I see it over there.
bell, ring my
So
bell.
Lori Mae's got a question for you. Can I ask Bill how long you've been out and how often daily do you feel you use your AVP knowledge? That's a great question.
Oh man, that is a great question. I've been out like, oh man, it's coming up on 7 years, so a little over 6.5 years. I've been out. December, yeah, no, so about 6.5 years. December will be 7 years that I got out. I got out December 14th of 2016. I had no, um, I had like no write ups during my parole period. I got released from parole like 3 years early. Um, and I mean, I would probably daily. I probably like at least subconsciously because like so AVP is like in me. You know what I mean? Especially like anybody who's had like a lot of experience with 12 step groups or whatever.
Right.
Like you know that like if you've worked the 12 steps a number of times, because I was I'm sober for like 11 years, bro. I've worked the
Right.
12 steps a number of times. Like
Right.
those spiritual principles are a part of who I am. Like,
Right.
and that's why like one of the things that I think is really funny is when somebody points out a character defect in me.
Yeah.
I'm generally pretty accepting of it.
Right. And
Generally,
grateful, almost grateful, right? We have Eve back,
yeah,
by the way.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, oh, like, thank you. And like, they look at me like I'm crazy because I
Right.
wasn't mad at them, and I'm like, no, man. Like I appreciate. Like the
Right.
best
Right.
thing I can have is friends that hold me accountable.
Totally.
That's the
Totally.
best thing I can have.
Totally. Well, you know what? I
Hello,
mean,
Eve.
we have an experience recently together with a friend of ours who, is probably not accountable for how what his is, and I think that's and listen, I'm not getting into it other than it's a good example of where you are and where I am, and how we can be like, listen, this isn't good. I don't like not feeling the same way, and I don't like this person feeling that way, but it's not my thing to hold, right? You know what I mean? You've got to know what you're accountable for and what you're not accountable for,
That's
and
true.
I think that again, I feel like this is what I love about where you are is that whole you're swimming in accountability. You know what I mean? You're just
Yeah,
swimming in it, and I mean,
yeah,
everybody's gotta, if everybody could, feel the way we do about each other, like, the world would be such a better place. You know what I mean? Like
right,
AVP is just to show everybody to be accountable, for how they behave in a
right.
system of a lot of people who have to behave together and survive together and love each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what's up, Eve? Welcome back.
Thanks. My phone started to decide to burn up, so I
Oh,
had to
it's all
hustle up
right.
something else. So
You know what? I'm
I'm
glad you
back.
were persistent enough to come back. I'm glad you're back.
Yeah, thank you. It's much more mystery writer motif
Oh
now.
yeah.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
It is.
You know what? Maybe we should start talking about that a little bit. We are about halfway through our moment. Is that even a thing? Being halfway through a moment? I think
I mean, I don't know. I don't
I just
know.
made
That
that
kind of feels like.
up. So one of the other awesome things about you, Eve, is
Well,
is
yeah,
that
I'm a
go ahead.
mystery writer. I write short stories, and I've been published all over 30 times in Alfred Hitchcock Mystery Magazine.
An amazing accomplishment, I must say. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. And I'm currently some of my stories are in a are currently. I've got a story in a anthology that just came out, edited by Josh Pachter, called Paranoia Blues, stories based on the songs of Paul Simon.
Oh wow!
And that anthology is now a finalist for the Anthony Awards, Mystery Awards.
Awesome.
So that's pretty cool. I wrote a story for that called Cool Papa Bell, which is narrated by an 80-year-old inmate.
Oh wow! Wow,
In prison.
That's awesome.
Because crime happens everywhere, you know.
That's true.
And I've been finalist twice, mentioned in the honorable mentions in 2 different years for the mystery suspense stories of the year.
Wow, that's
So
awesome.
I've been very fortunate. I was lucky. I'm very fortunate. I'm one of the few. I wrote my first mystery story in 1996 and sent it to Alfred Hitchcock, and they pulled it out of the slush pile and published it.
Wow.
And
so that was the first time you got published was 1996.
Yes.
That's awesome. And I did a little research. Here's your website, which I have at the bottom. And I was like, Alfred Hitchcock magazine, that's like really famous. That's been around a long time. And I saw that they've been around for 60 years. So again, I mean, to me, that's quite an accomplishment to be published not once, but at least 4 times that we can see here, where your name is on the cover, which is so freaking cool. I mean, that's so awesome. So I can only imagine how that must have felt each time that happened. So again,
it's incredible. It's incredible
for those moments. Yeah.
I have to admit, one of my private pleasures in life is when one of the issues comes out with one of my stories in it. I go down to Barnes and Noble and I just pick up one of the magazines and look and
you just read it. Yeah.
Just smile sweetly to myself and
that's awesome.
Go off. It's just like, woo, I made it. I love
it. I love it. You know what? That's the reward you get for being who you are and doing what you love to do, you know?
Yeah. So I do that. I was a history teacher, a history professor at SDSU for years. I taught Western Civ, World Civ, and Asian history.
Wow.
So, which means I drive people crazy on the internet.
I
don't let them get away with crap. You run across so much ignorant crap, and you're just like, no, it's not the way it works. It's not the way it happened.
And I think she's even put me in my place once or twice, to be honest with you. If I'm real honest, I'm pretty sure she has.
I'm like that.
So there's a lot of misbeliefs out there about.
Oh yeah. I'm just stunned all the time. It's like, really? Don't even get me started on on half the stuff that they're trying to pass off as history, especially when they start talking about like Civil War stuff. Oh, it was all about states' rights. No, it was all about slavery. Period.
Right.
They wrote it in the Confederate Constitution.
Right. Right. And you know what? That's something that even I can say I'm familiar with just from growing up in school. But I do see, the younger generation kind of completely unaware of. Let's not even get into that stuff. This is a good moment. This is a good moment.
Let's go back to more fun.
Let's go back to your.
I want to mention. So one of the viewers was asking about when I got out and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I did in my first 2 weeks of getting out was I had dinner with Eve and Alan, her husband. We all met, and I told them of a vision that I had. And one of the things that I wanted to accomplish, because like you were saying, Michael, like AVP is one of those things that like everybody could benefit from, and like it seems like the sooner you get people involved in it, the better it would be, because it really helps, correct some of the errors that we might have in thinking, and it really increases our empathy and our compassion, and our caring for others, and even caring for ourselves in proper ways.
Right.
You know
Which
what
is
I
where
mean?
it all begins. That's where it all has to start.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's like on the mandala, like, so, caring for self and caring for others are like the two, like those are the core, and transforming power is the center of the mandala, and so, and then I think, I forget what the outside ones are, because there's 3 outside ones. But anyway, I know what is it? It's like
think before reacting.
Yeah, think before reacting. Oh my gosh, that one. That's why I breathe. That's why I take my calming breath.
Oh yeah,
is so that I think before reacting.
Yeah,
I'm giving my brain a chance to catch up.
And breathing is powerful, so that's a powerful one for sure.
And expect the best. And
that's
for a non-violent solution.
Yeah. See, that's so good. That's so good right there.
I love it.
So anyway, so I sat down with him and I talked about this vision that I had. And he was left the picture. But I told them that one of the things I would love to see happen is to get police officers and ex-cons to do AVP weekends together.
Yes.
And so I still talk to a lot of the guys that I got that I did time with. Freedom's Gate Church, which is ran by Pastor Jason Worsma. He was the pastor in Springfield, the prison that I was at, and he actually interned on the Hill when I was on the Hill. So I've literally known this guy since like probably about as long as I've known Eve. You probably remember Pastor Jason. I don't know if you do or not, but I talked with those guys, and there's a handful of guys that have went through AVP while they were in prison, that would be willing to do an AVP weekend with police officers. And at a show about 2.5 weeks ago, I ran into a woman that happens to be the training officer for many of the police departments in the region. Okay. So like, and I talked to her about this idea and that we want to make this happen. One of the things that we haven't, that I didn't discuss with her yet, was that it needs to be like a voluntary thing, not something that they're made to do. Right. Because like I said before, the program kind of breaks down if you're forced into it. It really has to be something that you're there because you want to be, and you want to learn this stuff, and you want to, try and implement it into your life, know? And so if we can, like, I feel like that's on the verge of coming to fruition, and it's just, I
feel like it's a good time right now because of, I didn't want to get into how bad it was out there, right? But it's a good time because of the times, because I think a lot of people are reflecting on themselves and saying, wait a second, maybe I can do something different, to not always expect the same result, I think it's a good time for what you're suggesting.
And I mean, like, especially that expecting the best, like that is something that because I feel like a lot of times police officers go into situations and they're certainly not expecting the best. And I mean, at a certain level, that's understandable. You know what I mean?
Sure,
but
absolutely.
At the same time, how, seeking that win-win outcome, you know what I mean? That is instrumental. That's some of the stuff that we work on during the weekend, during the seminar, is seeking that win-win and not, not having to be right, that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And don't forget one of my favorite exercises, iMessages.
Yeah.
What's that exercise?
Important.
What is that exercise? How you talk to yourself?
No, to anybody,
Oh,
to
to
other
anybody.
people,
Okay.
instead of, because we run around a lot, saying, well, you drive me nuts. Why don't you shape up?
Right.
If you wouldn't do this, I would be so much happier and all this. And it's like, so how do you react when somebody says that to you and everybody agrees? Well, I tell them to, you know, F off.
Right.
And, it's like, yeah. So it doesn't work. It just escalates the situation. You have to learn to learn how to say something that is not an attack,
Right.
but instead is a statement of how and why you're feeling and why you're feeling it.
Right.
When I hear gunshots outside, it makes me very nervous.
Right.
It would make me nervous too.
Yeah. I live in a kind of sketchy neighborhood.
Yeah.
On the edge.
I mean, it's getting that way. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's
So we hear them occasionally.
Right.
And stuff. So, when or when, something happens, and instead of saying, well, like in prison a lot, instead of telling your cellie, well, when you don't look, you're just a pig and a slob. And if you don't start cleaning this place up, we're going to, it's like, no, let's think of another way that you can phrase this to try and get your point across and manage to negotiate some kind of compromise. That's a lot of what nonviolence is about, is trying to, is learning to live together. We're all on this planet together. It's not that big, not anymore.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I've heard many people say, well, when I'm like, especially, I'm going to go out in the wilderness and I'm going to live apart from all these people. And I'm like, there's no wilderness left. What are you talking about?
I mean, I don't know. Have you been to South Dakota?
Yeah, there's some places where people are actually, it's funny because they're saying, oh, they're going off the grid, but they're like documenting it on social media. but they are, they are actually in places like Arkansas and like, on homesteads and things like that, like kind of removed from
Listen,
city,
Eve, I walked 10 miles for a pack of cigarettes yesterday, Eve. I don't want to.
I'm just saying, people say, well, we're going to go out, we're going to find out. You can't, every scrap of land in this country is owned by somebody.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to either buy it or rent it.
Right.
And if you squat on it, sooner or later, somebody's going to show up.
The sheriff is going to come.
Lori Mace is saying empathy to what we were talking about.
Empathy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we have to learn to get along because, it's...
It's so fundamental, and I think a lot of what you're talking about definitely addresses, things that I think about all the time, that I feel like, we are, raised, and it's not just us, it's been years and centuries of this kind of programming, and not being accountable for the things that we're talking about, like even just the idea of how powerful words are, like that's the basis of all of these exercises that you're talking about, is just even being able to look at a word and being like, holy shit, that word came out of my mouth and this is what it means. And, taking into account the perspective of saying it, having it said to you, all of those different aspects of it. I mean, it really is such the basic stuff that I don't think we are taught, and I think that we are taught to compete with each other and compare ourselves with other people, and those are like the things that when I learned, wait a second, no, the complete opposite, life became so much happier, you know what I mean? And I became able to when I was able to love myself, I was able to love other people, you know what I mean? Because I was not a fan of other people. You know what I mean? I was walking around with the attitude in my head that 95% of the people I meet, and that's a lot of people, had no clue what it meant to be a human being and to share this planet with other people and care and respect about each other. And I would write them off immediately, and I realized that even thinking that was part of why that's what I was experiencing.
Right.
Because
For sure.
my thoughts are powerful, and
you're like
once
willing it into being.
Yeah, once I stopped thinking that, and I was like, wow, I am actually unwillingly, I'm actually looking for the good in everybody, like trying to figure out what I like about you instead of what I don't like about you, and man, that we could see that on social media, that and the media in general, that's what the agenda that they're pushing, right? Is what don't you like about the other guy,
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Basic philosophies of love, it seems, are the core of AVP. So I'm glad I learned what the heck AVP even was, and it sounds like it definitely aligns with who I am and who Will is, and obviously who you are, Eve. So it's great to meet you and talk with you. And I do want to talk to you more about Alan C. Fisher. I did click on the link that I had on the side of the screen, and I do a bunch of photography.
Her husband Alan, who also has been an AVP champion. Like he's been a part of many weekends.
Nice.
He is an extraordinary artist and sculptor.
Nice.
Like he does some amazing stuff.
That's awesome.
The one they have in their basement, I'm like, that thing is so nice.
You're gonna steal it.
I want it so. Like I think it's called The Struggle. Is it called The Struggle?
Struggle between a devil and an angel.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that is bar none my favorite piece by him. Like it's like that's. If I wanted,
it's got a bronze devil and a bronze angel, but the center of it, and they're pulling. One's in the positive, one's in the negative space, and they're pulling on a figure that is cut out, and the figure behind it is mirrored stainless steel. So when you look at it, you are in the middle of that struggle.
Oh wow.
Yeah. No, it's.
I love that. Oh my god, I want to see that piece. I love it. The description is amazing.
No, it should be. I'm sure it's on his website. It's got to be on there.
I'm gonna definitely dig deep into the website, but after we sign off, Eve, stay on the call because I want to talk to you and say hello to Al. And actually, I think you mentioned he was sitting in the side there, so I'm gonna give him a shout out to Alan C. Fisher.
Yeah, we can have him in there.
I love that he's your cheerleader, and he's.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? I want to tell you something. This is something so beautiful. So, Alan has been having some health struggles, and he's been in and out of the hospital. Mm-hmm. And Eve let me know that he was in the hospital, and so I asked if he could have visitors, and she said yes. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I do, because I do tend to have some time on my hands. So if I have a friend in the hospital and I know about it, I try and stop by and visit them because I know that not everybody gets visitors. Mm. And so, I love Alan. He's my buddy, because he's so fun to chat with. He really, really is. And so I was like, oh, I'll go up there. He's probably just chilling by himself. And I should have known better. I don't know what I was even thinking because I go up there and there's Eve sitting right with him, and I was like, of course she's here. Of course she's here by his side. These two are inseparable. And that's one of the beautiful things about them is that they're just a beautiful couple. They're beautiful people. Thank you. And they have great hearts. They really have.
You know what? And I think you're saying that, and I know for me, like I'm in a relationship that I've been in for a couple of years now, and it is the most amazing relationship I've been in. And I think it's because of my relationship with myself. And I think if you come from such a pure place of love, that bond that you have with somebody else can be so much more intense, I mean, it really can. And Will, I know you're in a different place right now, but I mean, again, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying to you, man. Cause like once you are that person that you would fall in love with in a second, once you are that person will show up, and that person is going to be so much better than you ever even imagined. Like you're just not even you're going to be like, I never even imagined I can connect to somebody like this, and that's what it sounds like you've got, Eve, which is awesome.
Yeah, we have been married 44 years.
Wow, that's awesome.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, we're starting to think that the relationship has potential.
So Eve, are you doing stand up with William? It sounds like you've got some
No,
material.
Yeah,
this
you
is
probably
just
do
me.
better than me.
This is just me.
That was good. That was quick. Awesome. Awesome. So William, let me ask you another question. I know you were super excited to get Eve on the show and talk to her, and we talked about so many great things. Was there anything else specific that you wanted to talk to her? We still have some time left before we gotta call it a night. She said she turns into a pumpkin at 9
Yeah,
sharp.
no,
So
I mean, I just wanted to mention that we're on the path to getting that AVP done
Wonderful.
between officers and ex-convicts. Like
awesome.
that's just something that like was she missing when we mentioned that? Is that what the
No, I
I
yeah,
think
okay,
she
she
came
was
back.
here.
Yeah, we talked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, okay, good. Yeah, no, I'm just super excited about that because meeting that I think she's like a sensitivity trainer. I forget what the exact thing is, but her job is to make police like more aware of how they can be helpful.
yeah.
And so
You know what?
like
I have a feeling it's going to be your job too soon, Will. I think you're on the path to your desire to help people is gonna really pay off for you.
yeah, lead me to some weird places that I never thought I'd be. Yeah, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
know.
Absolutely.
It
No,
already feels that way.
and it's all good. It's all good stuff.
Yeah,
And
no, it totally is. It totally is. Like, I'm
love it.
excited about it. It's I really want my judge to come to his show, like, like so bad. I want my judge to be in the front row so bad, bro. Like I can't
Oh
even tell
man.
you how bad. But because listen, he has no idea how much love I have for him. Like I have so much love for the man who sentenced me because listen,
Wow.
like he changed my life. He changed my whole life, you know, and I might not be the person I want to be yet, but I know where I came from and I know where I'm at, and I'm
Totally.
pretty happy with the progress so far.
Just having that perspective. Can you believe you even have that perspective that you just said out loud?
I
That
mean,
you love that
yeah,
guy? You know, I mean, like, can you
yeah. Oh no,
imagine?
yeah. I mean, dude, when I like week 1, week 2, oh yeah, no, there was no love there, no love at all, no, not a chance. You know.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's so great. That's so awesome. Well, you
Well, I
know,
got to tell one quick story
yes,
about
I was gonna give you the floor.
Bill
You
back in the days when he was still in and he was doing.
Oh, I gotta hear this. This is gonna be
And
great.
he was we were doing a role play, and it
I know.
involved a boxing ring, and Bill was our ring girl.
I was the ring girl.
Yes.
That's right. Like, dude, I tied my shirt up in a knot and everything, and like did the cross-legged walk. You know,
I love it.
I'm pretty sure I blew kisses to the people in the
Yes,
corner.
yes.
Yeah, no, listen, you
With
can't
the
put me
sound
into a
of the
role and not
ground.
listen. I get fully into a role.
Yes.
You want me to play a character? I'm gonna play that character.
Oh, and it was legendary. We never, it was talked about for quite a long time.
I hear about it. I do hear about it from time to time. You know, because there's like 20 some people in a weekend. There's a lot of guys that I could run into.
Well, and on
There's
top
at
of
least
that, the COs, the guards have nothing better to do a lot of times.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that was reviewed on camera many times as well. That's I'm surprised that never made it to some funniest videos thing somewhere.
Oh, I know. I mean, another time there was a workshop. You had gotten out, praise God, with Joe. Joe, young Yusuf, Joe.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And he came and he was doing this whole thing where he was like a teenager, being a pain in the ass teenager, and he was wearing his gym shorts. And the CO, a brand new guard came running down, going, "You're not allowed to wear just your underwear." And it's like, it's my, it's my short exercise shorts. We had a whole kerfuffle with white shirts and everything else, explaining the rules and all that. Though the best of them all, and it was Mary and I and Denny did a mini workshop with the parole board.
Did you?
Yes.
That's awesome.
We did a
Wow.
granted, it was a 1 hour, sell AVP by doing it and cram it all into 1 hour. So we went in there.
Gosh, would you do like 3 or 4 exercises?
We did
Probably
like
4?
3 or 4 exercises, and we did a light and lively, and we did elephants, palm trees, and skunks. And that afternoon, one of the guards, Mary was still around at the pen that day, and he came up to her and he said, "I got to ask, how'd you get the parole board to fart?"
That is the skunk. The skunk turns around and lifts its tail, and the other person is supposed to like turn their nose away.
Yeah.
And if you don't,
and the word went all over that we had gotten the entire parole board to fart, pretend to
oh
fart,
man,
fart.
Oh my God, that's hysterical.
But it was great. It was great.
I
Oh
love
my
it.
God.
That's great. I love it. Awesome story. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So I guess we can call it a moment. It was so awesome
great.
talking to you, Eve, and getting to know you.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Always glad to hang with Bill.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Always good to see you. And Alan, tell Alan I said hello. I'm glad he's out of the hospital.
Awesome. Stick around after I put you in the green room, but before I put you in that in backstage or green room or whatever it's called, do you have any words of wisdom for anybody who might be watching?
Anything is possible. Sometime Bill is an example. I'm an example. I'll be honest with you, just real quick. When I was a teenager, I left a very violent alcoholic home, and I lived on the streets for 2 years.
Wow.
And since then, I became a university professor. Anything is possible in this life.
That's awesome.
If you work for it and if you want it.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
Never give up.
Those are great, amazing, wise words. Thank you, Eve Fisher, for those words. And thank you for your love and your presence in this moment. I'm going to put you in the back. I'm going to sign off with Bill, and I hope to see you guys soon. Well, I cut her off. Didn't mean to do that. Sorry, Eve. Well, that was awesome. That was such a great moment. Thank you for bringing Eve to the table and that whole conversation. I feel enlightened. I feel happy that that's what's happening. You know what I mean? It's something that we can look to and be like, all right, it's not all bad shit happening in the world. There are people trying to care for each other and make each other better.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thanks so much, Will, for doing this show with me, and we'll talk some more, and we'll bring some cool guests into our moment.
Yeah, I have a former bodybuilder that is chomping at the bit to talk to us. Actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, he was a legit dude. He had a huge business, and it all came crashing down. And but he's still plugging away. He's still, having a positive attitude and maintaining. And yeah, he's got one hell of a story. Like he had some crazy health stuff happen to him, and just everything collapsed.
It's so awesome to be able to share these stories, because they're so inspiring, and they like Eve said, it just shows you that anything can happen, and you just gotta believe. You can't, if you're thinking bad stuff is gonna happen, that's what's gonna happen. You gotta want good stuff to happen. You gotta believe good stuff will happen, and that's the only way it's gonna happen. Awesome. All right, folks.
We beat ourselves with the mentality a lot of times.
We really do. Yeah. And you know what? We're in charge. We control that mentality.
Right. Right. And like even if I'm having a bad day, like I can take this moment. I can take this moment right here that I recognize that I'm having a bad day, and I can just switch it. And if I notice that it's getting bad again, just take that moment. And Like, I have sometimes, and sometimes I have to do that. Sometimes I have to redirect my thinking multiple times in a day. But like when, and that's for me, like part of why meditation is so important
Mhm.
is because meditation, because I have deeper meditative practices, like it allows me to notice those differences faster.
Mhm.
And then when I'm aware of it faster, then it's not so hard to throw my thinking somewhere else.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
Right.
if I'm sitting spinning on it for a good hour, well, yeah, it's going to take me a while to feel different because I've been giving life to it all this time that I've been feeding it.
Right.
Just don't
Right.
feed that B- BS side of your mind because believe me, it wants food, but we're the ones that determine which side to feed.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I want to talk to Eve before she turns into a pumpkin.
Oh
I know
yeah,
she's
no,
waiting
yeah, she's gonna
backstage.
turn it. Yeah, that's
So
right.
so let's sign off, but we will definitely be back. Thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next time
Share,
on The
follow,
Moment.
like, all that stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Hey, hey, hey.